huge outcrops. I actually think that this was part of the quarry right here, based upon what I was looking at on the maps, the LiDAR. This section right here, it doesn't really fit the natural contour of the land, so I'm thinking that this might have been a quarry, part of that quarry. And the section I want to show you is right up here. So when you have, I guess, faulting, a lot of the times the rock gets crushed, crumpled, scraped, pulled, creates a lot of I would imagine little voids, little pockets inside the rock, the bedrock, which then fill up with mineral rich waters. Sometimes the waters are hot, sometimes I don't think they are, depending on how deep down the rock is. And then once those things get to the surface and are exposed, in this case I'm pretty sure by quarrying, they blast it out and you get what at least some of the time are known as gash marks. And I think that's what you're seeing here. You see these veins, these white veins here, and you can actually see the crystal, the faces of the individual crystals right here. And what's interesting about this is that some of it looks like quartz in the way the luster and in the way it's weathering, and then some of it looks like calcite or maybe dolomite in the way that it's developing in terms of you can actually see the crystals, and that looks like other calcite or dolomite crystals that I have. But then in other places, like right here, again, I don't know if this is coming out, but you have this kind of this dull white, big fat, you know, what used to be a void and it was filled. Get these dull white, and then right in the middle you have a slightly clearer but shinier little bit, and maybe that's quartz. Here's another bit right here. At least that's what I think. I'm not 100% sure. Here's another spot where you have the actual crystal structure can be seen. You see this? See, it looks like the letter A, these spidering veins, and you can actually see the individual beds. Here's one, here's one. You can see how they were pushed, smeared and stretched or crushed. So if you crushed it and maybe let a little pressure off, when you open that sucker back up, the water's going to rush in, and you get these veins, which basically just show you where the fractures were. And look at this one right here. See that curve? Boom. Here. And here's a really good, right here especially. Boom, 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 boom. This one here, you see that right here? Look, it goes like this. This is literally a little microfold, like that. Boom. So it was pushed up under there on a small scale, but everywhere you look is just filled with the white stuff. Again, I'm not exactly sure what that is, whether it's calcite or quartz. And here you can really see the crystal structure is very apparent in this big chunk right here. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be able to see that. The light is good enough. I mean, the cliffs, the entire cliff is just filled with them. And you can see the waves and the bends in the rock. It's just amazing. I mean, the amount of power, you know, force, and I mean, who knows when this happened. I mean, I think that the Conestoga, I think it's Cambrian Ordovician, so I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. 300 million years old, 3-4, somewhere like that. I mean, a long time ago. You got some mud, I guess mud wasp nests up there. So that's one thing that I wanted to show you. I found this when I was here before, and it's also over there. Look at that over there. And here you can actually see the faults. At least that's what I think it is. You follow this line right up there. Whoa. This right here. See how that bends like that? This chunk's pushed up against this chunk. The whole thing is just squeezed. We're in the middle of what looks like a large paw paw patch. They're littering the ground. There's hundreds of them, if not thousands of them, sprinkled all throughout in various states of decay. There's one that's pretty rotten. This one is a little less, but they're very soft. Let's split one open and see what it looks like. I've never had them. You can eat them. I think it's a fruit. There we go. Huh. Someone said they taste kind of like mangoes and oranges or something. Mangoes and something else mixed together. I mean, they certainly look pretty tasty. And there's this seed pocket. Where'd that sucker go? There's one here. Let's do this one too. This one actually is more firm. So there we go. Oh yeah. And you can see the little seed pod. I mean, it's doesn't really have much of a smell. Squeeze it, see what happens. Oh, it's like liquefied. Yeah, those are the Paw Paws. They're everywhere. All right, so I looked at the map again, and I think we're gonna want to head up here. And actually, here is a trail. Oh, here we go. What have we here? Aha. This looks like something right here, doesn't it? You can see what looks like a square on the LiDAR. A square, and it's right adjacent to the stream, almost over the stream in a way. See this flat expanse here? I'm wondering, nothing there. Gonna be up here. I'm wondering if there wasn't maybe a mill here, although judging upon the soil next to the creek, it didn't really look like it. There's definitely something cut into the hill here, though. Right there, there. Because there's really... Oh, yeah. Watch out for the Paw Paws. Look at that. Right through that. Watch out for the thorns. Yeah. Oh. Get through that woody stuff. All right, here we go. Huh. Heck, I mean, well, maybe it's just, could just be the banks of the creek. I don't know. Little berry bushes. This does go through. That's a good one. It's very sandy right here, and we're still behind the log jam there. I just inhaled an insect. Anyway, there were some deer tracks there. Here's an old sycamore. This looks like that stuff just flaking off. That's bedrock. To me, that looks like bedrock. That would be the Conestoga. Oh man, that was nasty. Oh, it's kind of deep here. Let's go down to the beach here. Switch batteries. Okay. Seen some prints here too. Is that a deer or a rabbit? I think it's a deer. There's something right there. I can't tell if that's bedrock or is that it almost looks like concrete. Let's cross back over and we're gonna hike up past the log jam and then get back down in the stream and see what we can find. It looks like we got some outcrops here under the water. I'll pick it back up when I switch out the batteries. Wow, I mean, look at this. I mean, I just sunk that. That's pretty soft stuff. There's something right there. Unless those straight lines right there are part of an old construction. Deep here. Oh, hopefully we can get across here without getting our feet wet. It's getting pretty much too deep in all the directions. I'll tell you though, this water is nice and clear though. It's a clean creek. I mean, at least it looks clean. Well, we made it across the creek, and as I was coming across it, this caught my eye. It's a little piece of pottery. Looks pretty old. And then I found this on right here, which to me kind of looks maybe like a clay pigeon, something you shoot at. Maybe. Anybody out there? Any people out there who do that kind of thing? That's the only thing I could think of. Is clay. Sometimes they're orange, but I've seen them black. Maybe. And then this popped out at me in the creek too. Now, when I first picked this up, I thought it was I thought, well, maybe it's plastic because it's so thin right here, you can actually see right through it. But then it actually sounds like, I guess, porcelain or something. I don't know what that is. I also wanted to show you guys that the shiny quality to the what's this? Oh, geez, here's another. I was just about to say, oh, it's so clean, I don't see anything in this creek, and then I start finding all this stuff. What's this? This looks that's the rim of a pot of some type. Look at that water though. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Otter Creek. I just want to get a chunk of it. I don't know if it's coming out, but everywhere I look, I get this kind of sparkling effect. There we go. I don't know if that's coming out. The rocks are just like sparkling in the sun there. That looks like a chunk of marble, doesn't it? And this is what I believe to be a chunk of that graphitic shale stuff. Notice how dark it is? And it's got some crystals right embedded in there. Yeah, that's a big cluster of something. Let's bust that up with a hammer and see if we can get anything interesting out of it. Yeah, you see that stuff? That's definitely it crumbles. Yeah, you can see it's dark. And that you can actually, if you wanted to, you could write with this stuff. Look at that. You see those black lines? That's it. That's the here. That's the It's almost like having a. It's almost like having a pencil. You see that? That's pretty cool. All right, let's head back up. We'll catch the trail up there, and we'll go up a ways, and we'll come back in the creek. And we're back. We made it past the log jam. We're just a little bit upstream from that. And I'm just looking at this creek, and I'm like, this is a very clear and clean creek. A lot of times I go walking in these things and, you know, there's crap everywhere. There's acorns. You see these? These little nuts down in there. It's a very sandy. Yeah. Which would make sense because it's got a lot of quartz in it. But just look at this, man. Look at that bed. Look at the... And here you have a nice outcrop of the limestone. You see that line right there? There's a very distinct line going right across there. Huh. I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's the remnant of a former conduit or a former cave passage that might have ran right at or below, or maybe the creek used to go through a little stream passage right here. And the bedding is almost straight up, vertical. Look at that. Wow, I mean, look at that. How clean that water is. That's gorgeous. All the colors. Got some leaves going down in there. Wow. So let's keep going. Here's a piece of, here's a chunk of the limestone. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so on this side, this reminds me of that piece that I wanted to take for my collection at the Latort Spring. The last one we did when it was the heat wave, where we were creek larking. I'll leave a link to that. That's a really good episode. That's a two-parter. And I pulled up this big, very dark chunk of limestone, and it just had these veins. It looked like a chunk of fault breccia. And that's what this is reminding me of. You see that? Look at that. This is actually a good... I might have to come back, and I might have to pick this up on the way back. You see those? Shattered. And then on the flip side, you have, see this little worm-like thing here? To me, that looks like what's known as anastomoses or anastomose. It's basically when you have a passage along a bedding plane that's filled with sediment, and then the water gets injected into that little space. It actually, the little conduit actually forms from the sediment up because of the pressure and because of the limestone is actually more soluble than the stuff that's on the floor. So you get the series of these little braided interconnected tubes, and this is what they look, exactly what they look like. And you don't need much space. You don't need a big passage for that to happen. So this would have been on the top. This would have been like the top. It would have been oriented this way. See? And then running along these, you get these little snake-like passages. This side looks pretty smooth though. Okay, I'm gonna try to remember to pick this up on the way back. Look at that. Now the question is this mill, what was it called? If you go to the Instagram, there's a picture where I came across these mill deposits down on Klein's Run. This is like clay. It's like sandy clay. See that? It's got like reddish stuff. I wonder if that's indicative of a former mill, or if that's just the natural sediment, the natural stream deposits. Huh. That's a good question. All right, let's keep going. A nice little chunk of blue. Blue something. That's pretty thick. You see that? Blue on blue. It's the same, a little bit different than the color of the sky. That's a pretty nice one. There you go. Look at that. This one has it's got some iron in it too. This one, there you can see that's a really good one too. Look at this, you get this wet. Watch this. Watch how this pops out. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. Look at those intersecting lines, dude. Very nice. I want to keep this one too. I hope I'm strong enough to carry all these suckers. Nice outcrop. I wonder if we might be off the limestone. I think we're on schist now. That's what it seems like. Got an old barrel. Oh. That thing's been around. And this thing over here. What is this? This looks like oh, it's heavy. It's like it's made out of maybe pressure treated. And it's got these hooks here. Got a lock here, so there used to be probably something locking. And these hooks means maybe it was hanging. It's obviously for some type of animal, maybe like some type of cage. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave your ideas down in the comments. Let me know what you think this thing is. It doesn't look like it's in so bad a condition that it wasn't being used. So this might have this might have been something that actually got stolen by the hurricane floodwaters. Here's an old timber. You see this? This looks like something you might see on a bridge or a train track. It kind of reminds me of Fishing Creek. We did those 2 episodes down there. I'll leave a link up. The second one, where I found that hunting blind, it looks like it had been abandoned. What's that? Here we go. Well, something right there. Tell you what, I'm going to dull out my machete real fast the way I use it. Yep. Piece of pottery. This looks very similar to the other one I found down there. And what's this right here? I spy something else right here. And it's definitely, is that milk glass? Oh wait, hold on. It's got writing on it. Let's get here with the light. It's got writing on it. It says, it says mason jar. Hold on. Something FOF mason jars. Oh, we'll look at it closer when we get back. You know, some of these little pieces of the that are shining are very circular, and you see them, you just kind of see them as you're glancing by. They almost look like coins at the bottom of the creek. There's another piece. This looks like a different piece of pottery though. There's a big chunk here. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's that old. That's a very familiar with the brown interior. I guess is that stoneware. I mean, you find these like you throw a rock and you hit these around here. Very common. Something here. The heck? What is that? Yep, porcelain? That looks like a piece to a... Huh, what is that? Something to do with electricity? It's got metal on the inside. Kind of looks like porcelain. Feels like porcelain too. Porcelaneous. No problem with visibility in this creek, that's for sure. This sucker just goes. Bam. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of TopoRanger. As always, loved having you along. We got to see the quarry. Interesting log jam. Got to look at the geology a little bit of this limestone. I think we did shift. Now we're possibly on something different, probably on the schist at this point. Found some stuff in the creek. We didn't find any ruins, but I didn't cover that area 100% though, because I wanted to come upstream a little bit. Check this out. This is a beautiful location. This creek, Cabin Creek here, down by the Susquehanna River. This keeps going. There's a lot of meanders, so you can go walk a long distance on the creek without ever really walking much distance in a straight line, so to speak. And a lot of this land around here is owned, I'm pretty sure it's public, I think, in the sense that it's owned by the Safe Harbor, the company that owns Safe Harbor Dam, so you're allowed to recreate on it. I don't know where the exact lines are, but I did look at it on a property map once. It's a big creek, big, clean. Lots of stuff here. It's clean, but there's little things here and there, so it's not so clean as you can't find anything. It's clean enough that it feels like you're out in the woods in a nice clean area, not like some of the places I take you guys to. All right, but you guys know what I mean, right? Yeah, we'll have to come back here because this definitely warrants further examination, and this is the perfect time of year. All right, so if you haven't yet, please hit subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. Follow me on TOPO_Ranger at Instagram and on Facebook too. Follow us on Facebook, all three of those things, and you'll be up to date with everything that I do. I still have 3 more episodes from the summer that I have yet to put out. So got some good stuff coming on the way, all right? As always, I love having you guys along, and I'll see you next time. This is Brett, signing out.